All right, everybody, just a quick introduction to why you're here, what we're going to be doing in this module. So the Utah Aspire ACT Plus is why we are here. What this is a test that you're going to take at the end of the school year. It's called an end-of-level test, and it's kind of new to Utah. We've had a few different versions of end-of-level tests that you may have seen in elementary school and intermediate and middle school. This one's a little bit newer, and it's a big improvement on some of the ones that we've done before, and we'll get into that a little bit more later. But I know test is a scary word to you, especially in math. The only scarier word in math is fractions, or at least that's what you think, right? But the Aspire test is going to be taken here in the classroom, and it's usually like the first week of April, second week of April. So it'll be in April, usually early April. And the way the test works is we've given it a couple of different ways. Last year, we broke the test up and you just took the section of the test in that appropriate class. So you took the math section in math class. You took the language arts, the reading, the writing section. You did that in English class, in your language class. The science you took in your science class. The year before, we had all the sophomores come to school. Everyone else was excused for the day, and you took the test in one sitting, kind of like the juniors take the ACT. You came in the morning, we did the math test, and then you took a break, and then you took the reading test and a break, then you took the English test and a break. I don't know yet what the plan is this year. It's kind of gone back and forth, so I don't know exactly the circumstances of taking the test, but I do know it'll be in that first week of April, maybe the second at the latest, okay? Now, we mentioned before, sophomores, those are the ones who take this test. Ninth graders take a version of the test. Eighth graders, seventh graders, everyone takes a different version of the test, but your 10th grade, your sophomore year, is the last time you take this kind of end-of-level test that's mainly for the use of the school, because your junior year, you're going to take a different kind of end-of-level test. You're going to take the ACT. And this test, the why, I think is everyone's biggest question. Parents, students, teachers, why is this test necessary? Why do we take it? And again, the moving to the Aspire test, I think has really helped everybody understand the point and why we take these tests. This test is designed by ACT. The questions are written by ACT, at least some of them. I think half of them come from ACT, the other half come from us, from Utah teachers. But they're written in the same sort of rigor that you're going to see on the ACT to help you kind of practice for that ACT test. They don't want you going into the ACT and have never seen a test like that before. Sit down, try to take that test. The Aspire test gives you a chance to build up to the ACT, but using the same kind of questions and tools and resources that will be used on the actual ACT. So for me, the biggest reason why this test is important is because it gives you a chance to practice the ACT test in a very similar ACT environment. There are all kinds of ACT practice tests out there and programs, but this gives you a chance to sit in a classroom under similar conditions to the ACT and take a test like you're going to be expected to do on that day when you're a junior. So I think that's the biggest question people have, and I think that's the best way to look at it. It's practice for you. The information that we get from the test I won't even see your test scores until like November. You'll have moved on. You'll be halfway through your junior year before I even know how you performed on the test. You will find out maybe a little bit earlier. You might find out in October how you performed on the test. The way they grade it is they actually look at how you did, and they give you a comparison score to an ACT. So they'll say, based on the score that you got on this practice test, that would be like getting an 18 on the ACT or getting a 25 on the ACT. If you keep doing what you're doing, we predict that's the kind of score you're going to get. So it's great information. We just don't get to see it for a long time. And again, why do it then? Because it's practice. It's practice for that big ACT test that you're going to take, and it helps you. And the more practice you do, the better you're going to perform when that day comes. All right. How? This year, the Utah Aspire and the ACT test are going to be given on computers. So it gives you a chance to practice the questions, not just the same types of questions, but the same tools and format that you're going to see on the test. Now, why are we talking about the Aspire test? April's a little ways off, but we're talking about this now because the test that you take is going to, a lot like the ACT, it can cover anything you have learned in math up to 10th grade. So you could see 9th grade math, you could see 8th grade math, you could see stuff from elementary school on this test. It's mostly 9th and 10th grade, but they like to throw in a little bit of stuff from earlier. And because it covers everything you are supposed to have learned, and it's given early in April, guys, we still have 6 weeks of school after you take the test. That's 6 weeks of learning that we're going to give you, that you're going to learn after the test. That's 6 weeks of information, of skills, of math concepts that you won't know because you haven't learned it yet for the test. So we don't like to take time during school, during class here to prepare for the test. Our administration, the school district feels it's a lot more important for you to see more concepts, more math before you take the test. So what I would like to do, because this test looks a lot like the ACT, sometimes the questions are a little bit scarier than what you're used to, or they're written in different ways. Whatever the situation, you're going to make some mistakes on this test. And you know what? If you miss a question because you don't know the content, because it's something you haven't learned yet, or it's something you don't remember, I don't care if you miss a question because you don't remember how to do it, or you have never even seen it before. What I do care about is when you miss a question that you should have gotten right. You knew what to do, but you made one of those common mistakes that get made during math tests. So instead of showing them that you knew how to do it, you made a little mistake and you got it wrong. Those are the kinds of problems you don't want to miss, and I don't want you to miss on the test. And if you go to Google and you research ACT or end-of-level math test mistakes, you're going to find hundreds of resources. You're going to find programs that cost thousands of dollars to help you prepare for these tests. They even have summer camps where you go with a bunch of other students and you do activities, but part of that camp is helping you prepare for the ACT and similar tests. There's a lot of information out there that you can look at to help prepare for the test. I want to help you focus on some of the most common mistakes on this test. This module is put together to just give you some basic information, to give you some insight into the common mistakes and the easiest ones to avoid. Okay. In the next hour, I can't teach you everything you've learned and remind you how to do all the math you've seen since 4th grade. But I can help you avoid making those common mistakes that are going to make it look like you don't remember how to do those problems. All right. So in this module, there are 4 little presentations for 4 of the most common mistakes and easiest ones to fix, by the way. Along the way, there's going to be some questions in there. There's 2 assignments. And then at the end, you'll get an opportunity to do a little practice test to take those skills that you've learned, answer 25 questions, kind of make a plan and see if you can avoid making those common mistakes on problems that you should have known how to do, or maybe you should have gotten right, but you made that common mistake. So I think you'll get through this in about an hour. When you're ready, go ahead, close the video and move on to the next page.